it was already a long time that many people are asking me why don't I write a book of my own with my own comments and my own selection. And well, about 3-4 years ago, I started to play with the thought about it that maybe it's about time, and have different publishers trying to convince me that it's already the right time for that. And then, well, everything takes time with me, and I was chewing it really long. And then, like 3 years ago, we talked first with Quality Chess, with Jacob Agard about the book. And then when I got more serious, for the first time, he felt it that I'm kind of not ready for it. And then a year and a half, a little bit more than a year and a half, he flew over to Budapest because he felt it that maybe this is the right time already, that as we talk about it for the second time. So we started to discuss that what is his ideas, and mainly what are my ideas, because I had some experiences with publishers, with writers. I also wrote different kind of book with basically for kids, but it's not about my games. But I wanted to do it the way I thought is the way I'm happy to write the book. Because obviously it was clear to me that I will not do it every week, this kind of work, to go and revisit my my very early years, starting age of 6, 7, looking all my diaries and notebooks and notes, and talking with people who I was training with in the old times, and going back, checking, digging out all the pictures. So all these things, I thought I want to do it once, but really carefully, and having the time for it. And I found that Quality Chess, we agreed that they will give the time, that I can feel that I did the maximum I could, digging out all the information, all the memories out of the boxes and out of my head. And so I was very happy and looking forward to making the book, but it was obvious that alone it would be kind of boring and also difficult. So an old friend of mine, Mihaly Marin, who is writing himself a lot of good books, well, we met like in 1990 for the first time in Budapest, and then later on in many events. And then I thought that he might be a good partner and helper for me to add some ideas and help me in every way writing the book. Not only helping, but also having a good time. And this was the greatest part of the book, when he flew over a couple of times to Budapest, and we discussed what are the games, what will be, because obviously I have a different aspect of my own games. It might be very touching for me for some reason, but maybe another game it can be more better from an outsider, looking at it from another grandmaster and other person point of view. So he was helping me a lot, deciding in how we select the game and which chapters we are doing and how we are doing. So the best part was the creative work, to really to see new games, and I found some training games, more training games. Then we were looking at, okay, this I'm going to put this chapter. No, the other chapter is more constructive. So all these things, these very small things, made my work and my the months which I spent on the book really nice. And well, it was kind of my basic idea to make not only one book on my best game, because there were many books published about selected games of Judit Polgar, but somehow make it that people can learn from it. So somehow making chapters that there are for the same theme. There are different examples, and you will find examples, for example, from my training games at home, that it was the same or very similar tactical or positional motive or idea, and then later on, a few months later or a year later, I have exactly the same idea in actually a tournament game. And these things, for me, it was very interesting, because I also didn't read too many books of that type of great players, that you see a game when he or she was like 6 years old, and really to see the basics, when I can grab only maybe 3 or 4 moves, a fraction out of a game, because I was not so good at that time. But still, when I was very little, there are many games I could take out fractions, which I was proud of. And then you can see, and well, that's how I wanted to have the book, to see that from little nuance, small things, you grow up and you grow bigger, and you make more good moves. And even at the end already, like after 88, before 88, I don't even have practically complete games because I was not so good at the time. But after 88 in the Olympiad already, and in 91 in Amsterdam, I mean, that's the final chapter. And that was really exciting for me to write a chapter as a diary, day by day, how I felt, as much as I could remember, and as much as out of my notes and the people I talked to who lived through during that event, the experience and the media and all these things. So I try to grab as much information as possible and share my feelings and my views during the event, on the trainings, about the training, the way I prepared with my sisters, my trainers, how I did after the game training, before the game training, what were important in the way I grew up and how I improved my chess. Because it doesn't come like you start to play chess when you're 6 and then your first game when you're 14. It's not like that. The most difficult part is in between, when the parents are supporting the child, you travel to tournaments, you decide which moment that you take it seriously. So all these things I was trying to summarize it in my head, and as much as I was possible to give it out in the book.